The Book of Philemon in 20 seconds.
Mate, would it kill you to say please?
The Book of Philemon in 2 minutes. Hello and welcome to a 2-minute video about a book that takes 1 minute to read. Philemon is a letter from the Apostle Paul written to a guy named Philemon. And here, Paul is asking for a very big favour. In this letter, Paul is pulling out all the stops to get his way. Half the letter is just him flattering, bargaining with, guilt-tripping and almost threatening Philemon. So, what is it Paul wants so badly? Well, it involves slavery. And slavery in the Roman Empire is a complicated, nuanced topic which we don't have time to cover right now. But look, I'll do my best to give you a brief summary of the social, political, cultural, economic and military implications of slavery as practiced in the ancient Mediterranean world. It was bad. The gist of it is, like, a third of the city of Rome's population at that time were slaves. And the Roman definition of poverty basically was being unable to afford a slave of your own. So, Philemon, one of those first Christians, had a slave in his household named Onesimus. And this slave had run away from Philemon. Now, back in the Roman Empire, the punishment for runaway slaves was pretty dire. For instance, they could be right in the middle of their... Or in the worst cases, they might even... big piece of wood. Anyway, while on the run, Onesimus had bumped into Paul, who told him all about this Jesus character, who'd said a lot of very strange things about how the cruel order of this present world shall be undone in the kingdom of heaven. And so, Onesimus had become a Jesus follower. Now, the big favour Paul wants from Philemon? Well, Paul wants him to welcome Onesimus back into his household. Philemon, verse 15, so that you might have him back forever, no longer as a slave, but better than a slave, as a dear brother. A dear brother. Look, legally, socially, economically, culturally, this made no sense. To ask a citizen of the Roman Empire to consider a slave as their dear brother would be about as outrageous and nonsensical as you or I making friends with a toaster. 2,000 years back, Jesus told us to love one another no matter what, and we spent much of the following 2,000 years finding really clever ways to ignore those instructions. But in the book of Philemon, we see the love of Jesus in action. It's outrageous, it's impossible, it's really hard work, and it changes the world, one life at a time.